Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first open house. Um, First, I'd like to introduce everybody. And of course, my name is Robin H. Jimenez, and I am the vice vice president of the production and editorial department. I basically pull the copy. I do the initial edit. I do the layout and design, assignment, stuff like that. And I have been with the Dallas Examiner for about 20 years-ish. And on the side of me, also on the top, is Selena Seabrooks. She's one of our reporters, and she has been with us for, how long have you been with us?
Since March,
It's March.
March, April of this year.
So, and below her is another one of our reporters, and that's Diane Xavier. You've been with us since
2013.
Okay, 13. Wow, that's a little bit longer than I realized. So, then we have Charity Chukwu, right?
Chukwu.
Chukwu. Okay. See, yeah, I tried. My apologies. And she is our editorial assistant. She does all the main editing, and grammar and things that I don't love. So anyway, we're gonna talk real quick about what you guys do, what you enjoy most about journalism. And we'll start with going back around to Selena. So Selena, tell us just a little bit more about you, and then what you enjoy most about journalism.
Okay, well, I am born and raised in Miami, Florida. Been in Dallas now for about 5 years. Outside of the Dallas Examiner, I work for an alcohol and wine distributor who is located here in Dallas as an internal investigator. So that's kind of sparked my interest of wanting to work with the newspaper. The one thing that I can say that I like the best about being a journalist is being able to write about and report and talk about those important issues, major events and things of that sort that are going on around the world and in my local community, and especially being able to communicate that information to the Black community. So I would say that's what I like best.
Okay. And Diane, and I didn't say Diane Xavier last time, but her last name is Xavier. And what do you tell us just a little bit more about you and what you enjoy most about journalism?
Well, I graduated in May 2003 from Texas A&M University with a journalism degree, but I've been in journalism since I was, 13 years old when I first wrote for my high school newspaper, the Raider Echo of North Garland High School. And I wanted to be the editor. I just want all the attention. And then I went to A&M, and then I got an education. Probably, they're not like the most recognized journalism institute in the nation. But now that I think of it, now that I write for the Dallas Examiner and other press that I've written for in the past, that's one of the best educations I received, because I look at journalism in a new way now. When I was a small child growing up watching cartoons, and to watching Sesame Street, listening to MTV music videos, Michael Jackson being my all-time favorite artist. And when I graduated from A&M, I studied with some of the best professors in journalism that were from different markets, and showed us how to view the news with a objective eye and how to be an observer of life on Earth. And so that's why I still love it, and why I love writing for the Dallas Examiner and for the, I guess what you call the African American Press Association, NABJ or an NPA, is because I just love it, because Dallas, Texas, it's where it's happening. And it's like, why are all these events, foundations, sporting events, the discovery of cotton, all in Dallas, Texas? And I just love it. And covering South Dallas is one of my favorite things to do. Just, conversing with students and getting their inside story when, some people don't want to reveal what's really going on. And then I see it. And I'm like, oh, this is what's really going on. So I just love it. I'm real passionate about it. So.
Well, I appreciate that. Charity, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you enjoy most about journalism.
Well, I'm an implant from Nigeria, but I've pretty much grown up and lived all my life in the Dallas, Texas area. I grew up in Arlington, went to school in Austin, got my journalism degree, and I've just been back home. Well, I've been here and there, but I've come back home and I've really gotten to learn and love Dallas more than I and appreciate it more than when I was a kid. And I love working for the Dallas Examiner, especially because I get to learn so much more about the community I'm in. And being a journalist, like that's the best part of it, meeting new and interesting people, and also being like well informed about the community that I live in and being a global citizen. Because honestly, if I didn't have journalism in my life, I don't think I would have been that well informed about all the events that are going on, and especially politically. And I
Yeah.
think because I'm more politically aware, I can get my friends and family more aware and have them participate in elections and other really important things that help our community. So I'm just glad to have journalism in my life and to be more informed than I was when I, entered this world. So I'm just really, really happy to be a part of it.
So, and I am so happy to have you ladies on our team. We do have one team member that is not here, and his name is Mike McGee. Unfortunately, he's not able to join us in the evenings, but he is with us in spirit. He started around the same time that Diane started, and I think he is a phenomenal writer, and hopefully one day he will be able to join us. Um, I would tell you, for me, my favorite part of journalism, which is kind of echoing a little bit of what you ladies said, is to be able to tell the stories from our community that would not have been told, and some of those stories have touched other people's lives. Some of those stories have helped to uplift and inspire people. So, you know, it is a privilege, an honor, and a responsibility to be part of the press, but especially the Black press. Um, Next, we're going to have Selena um, talk a little bit about what she has had going on this past month.
A lot of assignments.
But the
Um,
main one that stands out is
yes. One assignment that stood out to me recently that I've completed was the article was titled "Coping with Stress and Anxiety at School During COVID-19." And basically, it was an Instagram live presentation that was conducted by Dr. Crystal Lewis, who is a licensed clinical psychologist with the National Institute of Mental Health. And she basically talked about the stress and anxiety that students, parents, and teachers may face during the transition of students returning to school during a pandemic. One of the things that she touched on that I really liked is that she expressed that everyone experiences stress and anxiety differently. So if you're a parent with more than one child, you may have multiple responses to those different stress and anxieties that they may experience during this transition. And so she talked about some tips, or she gave parents some tips on how they can help their child cope with this stress and anxiety. And some of those included meditation, deep breathing. She talked about getting active, going out, taking a walk or running, or basically finding something that you like that actually helps you relax. She had also talked a bit about parents and how they can approach a child who may be having a difficult time talking to them about the stress and anxiety that they may be experiencing during this transition. She provided tips on that too. She talked about having the child journal every day, expressing their feelings in writing in a journal. She also talked about you as the parent going to that child and acknowledging that you too are experiencing some stress and anxiety and trying to work with the child through coming up with ways of coping together. And then the last part of that article talks on how the pandemic overall could affect the way the child is learning. She talked about students who may have ADHD and how they may experience the stress and anxiety differently. And she really focused on the importance of organization, planning, and scheduling when dealing with a child who has ADHD, and how that can help them cope with this stress and anxiety better. And that's really a summary of that article. Outside of that, the article really focused on that parent-child relationship. So one of the things I wanted to do was to find out what teachers can do to help during this transition as well. And I did a little bit of research. I found an article that offers some tips, and I jotted some down. So I just want to read some of them, and these are just tips on what teachers can do on their behalf to help students with this transition. One of them was validate, support, and listen to the student. Another one was praise and reward students for being courageous for even going through this process. She also talked about the teacher also modeling good coping skills. So as the teacher, you be calm, you be caring, you be honest. And then she talked about the importance of providing, the article talked about the importance of teachers providing clear information to the families as soon as possible. So that's really it.
So that was very good.
Yeah.
And it was a very good article, and very timely. I know as a parent and, a former child, it can make you super nervous going back to school, especially, during a pandemic. And parents, for parents, that's not something that they ever had to deal with. So how do you deal with that?
Exactly.
And, I was really happy to see the part about, children who learn differently, and children who have anxiety, because, honestly, anxiety is big for me, and, I worry about everybody and everything all the time, so, true confessions. And so, to acknowledge that there are children that have the same issue. When there was a time when people didn't, people were like, oh, he's a child, what does he have to worry about? Children really understand what's going on. And so we need to, be cognizant of the way they're feeling about, different issues, especially surrounding COVID. And what did you think, Charity? Did you have any words?
I really love the article. I loved the part about how to cope with everything. I think it was informative to people who might not exactly know how to approach students or their children dealing with anxiety during this time. Like, that's the best part of any news story to me, is something that I can use and take back for myself and say, I can apply this to my life right now, because I know journaling has helped me a lot deal with my own personal anxiety during this pandemic. So to know that, that can be used for students as well as other skills of just acknowledging and that they have the stress in their life and not passing it over, because that can be a big thing for students as well, to not feel like they've been seen and like that their struggles are known. So to read that and to see it like be presented and saying as a way of communicating with one another, I think I was really impressed by it, and I was glad it's being talked about in our community.
Yes, Diane?
I really like the article because it made me calm down, letting me know that I'm not alone and that there's other people suffering, maybe worse than what I'm suffering. So I just, put it into perspective and I'm just wondering, I may have it bad, but then I'm like, the trials that I personally went through, like kids have to go through it 10 times worse. I'm certain, and I'm just thinking, I always ask why. Then when I read empowering articles like the ones in the Dallas Examiner, like Selena's, I just think, I'm just not going to over stress about it and just pray and calm down and try to get things done when, we're in the what, 2021, we've had to deal with the pandemic. I got to experience high school graduation on a stage.
Yeah.
And the
Mhm.
classes before me did not, many of them didn't have that experience. And it's gone virtual and schools have been shut down. And I'm just saying, my advice is not only to be calm and de-stress, but read as many books as you can. And especially read the newspaper. That everybody's forecasting it's going to go. No, that'll never happen, because people want like, I don't know, they want to, I guess, make a poster out of it, make a scrapbook out of it, and they want that for their memories, and we can't like destroy history. So that's my advice. Is just stress free. Read more empowering articles, and so it helps me cope a lot better. And so
Yes, that's good advice. And also, tell us about the article, one of the articles that you wrote this within the last month that stands out for you.
within the last month, well, I've written several, but I guess one of my all-time favorites. So there's two. One is I'm a big sports fan. I'll admit it, and is my article on former NFL player Scott Turner, who he went through a lot of stress in his life, and he used sports as an avenue to defeat um, trauma in his life, in his personal life, and he was never going to give up on his dream, despite being told no, you're no good, you're no this, you're no that, but he still fought through, and he fought through, and and had a successful NFL career, and now is giving back to the community that helped raise him. And I mean, his heart is everywhere. I mean, and one thing I didn't know about him is he's so active in political the political world. And and that's something that is kind of odd. When I was interviewing him, I just didn't have enough time to research that information, but he's so active, and I wish I had more information. You're a former athlete. Why are you so passionate about politics? His upbringing. He knew, okay, I'm not going to just focus on sports my entire, because that's a lot of kids growing up. They want to be star basketball player, football player, and when he told me that's an achievable goal, but you got to be realistic. Can your body play like that until you're I'm not going to age discriminate, because, but it's like, don't just focus on one thing, be versatile,
Yeah.
and we're living in an era where everybody has to work multiple jobs to survive. That's the reality of the world, not only here in the US economy, but world. I don't know what it is worldwide, but I know in the US economy, that's what it is. And so, and I think that's one of the key things I learned is be versatile. Don't just focus on one thing, but you need, I guess, do it in a way that's stress free, and how to cope with stress that can, I don't know, like, like Selena said, just be calm and stay focused on your goals. That's what I learned from interviewing Scott Turner.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like you, I was very surprised that he was so much into politics, and he was even a representative um in, I want to say, Carrollton or Collin
I
County.
think it's in Collin County.
Yeah.
I
And
think, yeah, I
yeah.
need to further review that, but I did
But
look up his bio, but a little bit, and I was shocked. He was so active, and I totally missed that. Just because of deadlines. We're on deadlines, and in the media world, deadlines are fast. Like you got to search, and thanks to the World Wide Web and resources, we can get it faster than, I guess, going to a library physically, or and trying to find the documents. So that's my only thing. It's kind of hard in today's age to find that material. So I thought, oh, I wish I knew this, a little
Yeah.
more.
But yeah, the fact that he was elected to the Texas House of Representatives, that was surprising. And also I was really glad to know about that too, because we always think of politicians as, you're kind of born into a certain group of people and you're always political minded, and that's just your narrow world. If you don't know a politician, you don't really understand um, that they're just like us. They're versatile, they have various things going on. And the fact that, football and politics don't usually have anything in common. So it's kind of interesting. Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, what did you think, Charity?
Um, yeah, the fact he's just such an inspiration to a Black role model, who has stepped outside of like his own little sphere and trying to give back to the community. And whenever I think of politics, I think of lawyers and like rich people in that sphere. So to know that, pretty much anyone can hop into this. And the fact that he did, and he when you read the article, you see how much all the different committees he's been on to help
Yes.
improve his specific district, and he's created to improve his district. It inspires kids to be like, yeah, I can still pursue my dreams of being this amazing athlete, but I mean, it doesn't stop there. I can also give back. And he embodies that, and it's really, really nice to read about and to be like, wow, there is somebody, like, it's not all negative news. And I love whenever a Black man comes up. So I was more than happy to read more about this man and all that he gives back to our community, especially.
And Sanina?
I love a good success story, and I just really loved how he talked about coming from a broken home where there was domestic violence, where there was a lot of kids, and how he didn't let that hold him back, and how he used his athletic abilities to help get him out of that situation and get him to even better situations. You know, as you all touched on, how he gives back and serves the community, that really touched me. Being elected to the House of Representatives and serving as the first Black executive, well, the first executive director for the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council. So it was an amazing story. I enjoyed it. He's an amazing person, and again, his abilities to help the community and really focus on giving back was just amazing.
And to kind of wrap up the month, Charity is going to give us her top 5 pick of the articles that we have printed for the past. Usually it's going to be 30 days, but since this is our first one, we're going a little bit beyond the 30-day mark. So anyway, Charity.
So as the copy editor and resident editor of the Dallas Examiner, I have to read all the stories that come through, and I'm gonna list, going from 5, my top favorite stories, and the ones that I think have really had a big impact on me, and I hope on everyone else who has the pleasure of reading our paper. The 5th one comes to you from Madison Williams. We had my first intern. I don't know whether the interns have been at the Dallas Examiner, but she did a really great job on this story. It was domestic violence outreach expands services to help Black women in the Southern sector. So there was a new program, I believe, that was opening up that allowed women to get services that they normally have to go far and wide to go reach. And now it's here in South Dallas, and it's more easily accessible about uh, it was finally being how it's finally one of those things that we will wait for something like this to come to the South Dallas community, and to finally have it here, and to finally have those women get those resources. And it it was just a markup job, and to see her grow as a journalist from the beginning of the summer to the end of the summer, it was all wrapped up in that story. My number 4 was by our own Selena Seabrooks. She wrote Coping with Stress and Anxiety in School, which he has already talked about. And I cannot say more about that story because it focuses on our students here coming back from COVID and helping them deal with the anxiety of, working out what life was going to be like after the pandemic, going back to school. And that's a much needed article for any parent, student, teacher to read and to know that this is how you can. My number 3 is by Diana Grosh. This is a new grocery store network that plans to alleviate food deserts while providing nutritious food and living wages in the southern Dallas. Now, this was a 2-for-1 story, in my opinion, because not only was there a healthy grocery store coming to South Dallas, but it was also providing jobs and living wages for those people working in that community. So not only do we get the new nutritious food that this area of Dallas needs so much, we also get that money coming right back into the community. So I get like the 2-for-1 situation there, where people are being helped in more than one way and are getting resources put back into their pockets. My number 2 is Friendship West offers credit union services and financial literacy to members in hopes of expanding. So this one was by Selena, and it was, I think, earlier in the summer, but Friendship West had opened up a credit union and was helping people manage their finances in a way that we don't normally see people learn about managing finances in the African American community, and helping them open up lines of credit and sorry, it's really hot here, and helping them open up lines of credit so that they could learn how to better manage their money. And it gives me hope that sometimes the banks have not always worked well for the African American community. So when other people are able to offer those services that weren't necessarily always available to us, and help us learn more about money and getting financially stable. The story took it from a grassroots area where it talked about how the pastor learned about credit, about how to manage his credit at a young age, and he didn't always take the right path, and it helped him realize that he needed to give this opportunity to people in his congregation and beyond. So I really appreciated that article. And my number 1 is, of course, going to be the South Dallas Government Center finally opens up in in our neck of the woods. This was the highlight of my summer when I heard that we finally are getting a government center. Thank you, Diane, for this article. It was amazing. We no longer have to go far and beyond just to get our license renewed or something as basic as that. So to finally have a government center where we can get all of these most important vehicle registrations, everything done within like a 5 to 10 minute journey. It's amazing that South Dallas has finally gotten a state-of-the-art center, and we can always get things done in our community and not have to go far and wide just to do the basic day one things. So thank you so much for all of that. I hope you guys can take the time to go back and see these articles. I hope it's posted on our Facebook page somewhere easily so that we can get to it. They are amazing, and y'all did an outstanding job writing them.
Thank you.
Yes, you ladies
You.
did do an outstanding job. So, and my number one is the same as your number one, for similar reasons, but you know, half of the excitement for me was the building. The
Oh,
building
Yes.
is phenomenal. First of all, thank you, Commissioner John Wiley
yes.
Price, for bringing the building here, for bringing the services here. Um, and it is important to have it in our community for several reasons, especially because transportation is not easy for several of the members of our community. But the building has a lot of Black history, a lot of Dallas Black history in it. It has beautiful Black art. And it's designed by a Black um, company, a Black owned company, and they have um, they have what, 4 locations, I believe. One of them I think is in like Arlington and KAI. So shout out to KAI for bringing us state of the art facilities. They've done SOC, they've done
Wow.
what is it, the
Mm,
new Dallas Police Officers Training Center. I mean, so many buildings that I wish I just had the list to name them all. But anyway, that was the highlight for me. Like the building itself is an art piece.
right.
So I'm just super excited to have something like that in our area.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to say something about that article covering it. I always grew up in the northeast of Dallas in Garland, Texas. So when I started working for the Examiner and starting South, I just thought, oh, cool, this is part of Dallas, Texas. I had no idea the what do you call the sufferings of the community unless you go cover the story. And I remember, why is it so empty? But you don't want to overdo it, because it can. I mean, I know what interviewing John Wiley Price is something about the infrastructure, and but finally it happened, and I thought, wow, all in one place. So I just
Mm,
saw, and when I saw the artist of the history makers, I mean, I was like, I interviewed, I think her name was Julia Jordan. Is that who it is?
Yes.
I remember, I remember when I went to her house. I'm scared of animals, dogs. She made sure I was safe. She said, "No, come on, come in." I just wanted to get the article and leave. Mrs. Belt warned me, "Oh, if you interview her, you have enough material to write a book." But she would not let me leave, and she finally showed me the photos of what it was like. I think during the 1920s, and I'm like, and then to see how the highways weren't built until the 1960s in this country. So 2021, to see that state of the art facility, I just thought, wow. And I
Mhm.
remember Julia Jordan show me photographs, actual photographs of her life. And, her story, I just loved it. Because I mean, you can't find these in history books. She has the images. And I just want to give a shout out to her as well.
Yeah, we may have to talk more about her during Black History Month because she has a big chunk of Dallas Black history. So um, anyway, but Selena,
Yes.
what did you think? What was your
And,
top
oh, my top
of
article.
charities list?
Oh, it would probably be the Friendship West one, the opening of the credit union. What I really liked about that article is how they touched on how the payday loans and the car title loan industry has kind of taken over in the Black
mhm.
community, and how they use the credit unions to help educate, you know, those in our community about financial literacy and saving and opening up an account, and giving them opportunities to get loans and financing at affordable rates versus these 900 and something percent rates that you find at the car title loans or the payday loan stores.
Right.
Yeah.
Something that is still not illegal, but
Yes. Hard to believe, but yes.
oh, it's such an inspiration, like to know that there are good, decent people out in the community who are just out here willing to help. And to see the new building in South Dallas, that's the pride of the community for me right now because no, I have to drive to the office every Wednesday, and I'm just like, everything is under construction. So even before then, you would see just how bad the infrastructure is. But like when I get to go through that community, when I get to drive past the community, that government center, I'm just like filled with hope. Like it's going to get better. So yeah.
So I was actually trying to see if I could see the Facebook Live to see if there's anybody um, that had any questions, wanted to chime in real quick. Unfortunately, I can't see it on the page for some reason. Facebook keeps changing things and it doesn't make me look any smarter. So we'll have to get used to this whole setup. So, if our audience will just like bear with us as we get used to everything, we will get our act together, I promise. In the meantime, you know, if 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 I happen to get a notification, then I will acknowledge you. But if I don't, then don't blame me, blame Facebook. That's all I have to say um, about that anyway. But I'm trying to look. So I don't see any at this time. So hopefully no one's trying to say anything and thinking I'm ignoring them. I promise I'm not. Anyway, so we're going to move on. And we have several things coming up. One of which I was going to mention first because it's kind of a surprise for our staff as well. But I'm going to wait till the end because I love anticipation. So we'll go back to that at the end. Anyway, so for first on our list, I'm just going to say we have a closer look business segment that will be posted. It's in the middle of being posted right now. So it should be on our website by the end of the day. So, and then, we'll be posting it to Facebook and Twitter and all of that. So you come back and check it out. We welcome feedback. And a closer look, just in case you haven't seen it, is short interviews with different Black-owned business. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Black-owned business owners. So I didn't want to say it wrong. Anyway, and we feature one business once a month, usually during the first week. So if you'd like to be part of it or be interviewed, then you can email acl_rhj@gmail.com. Again, acl_rhj@gmail.com. Also, don't forget daylight savings time is November 7th. All clocks will fall back 1 hour. Charity looks like she doesn't enjoy daylight
I
savings.
refuse to participate.
I used to do that too, but it didn't work for me.
I also heard the weather might start getting a little more not that bad on the roads, but just have your tires and everything checked. And so I'm just going to the
Yes.
forecast for listening off a forecast. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
we weren't that far away
definitely.
from another winter. Well, the winter storm was February 2020. So I'm like, oh, so
Yeah, definitely check your tires. Keep keep a flashlight because we don't want what happened last year to happen again. I mean, not that that's going to avoid what,
I'm gonna knock on wood for you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. So anyway, but also speaking of dates, don't forget November 11th is Veterans Day. And the Dallas Examiner salutes all veterans, especially in our community, and especially those who served during wartime. We're so glad to have our military back as well. I do want to say that while we're on air, um, that welcome back all of our military that's been fighting this war for the last 20 years. Glad to have you back on your homeland. I hope everybody is safe and happy to be with their families. Well, I know some people had to, still do their military jobs, but, I hope everybody got to connect with their families. I'll say that. Also, everybody knows that, or most of us know that COVID vaccines are now available for ages 5 and up. Anybody 5 and up. So please, please, please make sure you get your vaccination. If you have a child that's 5 to 18, make sure they're vaccinated. If you have questions, talk to your physician. If you've only had your first shot, be sure to get your second shot on time. If you got your first shot, but it's been a while and you didn't get your second shot, then consult your physician on what you need to do next, because you really need to be fully vaccinated. If you have any questions or concern, again, talk to your physician. I know there's a lot of controversy and people are nervous, but like they say, follow the science. That's all I'm really going to say on that. Unless y'all want to chime in, feel free to do so.
I'm going to go with the science instead of people's. I'm going to go with science.
Yeah. So just note, most of the people I know are vaccinated, and I just hope we can get to a point where we can handle COVID. COVID is, under control, so we can get back to a real normal and not this new normal. So, but anyway, that being said, our announcement for this month is something I've been waiting for forever, that, anyway, the Dallas Examiner is getting its first ever app that you can put on your smartphone. So excited. I've been wanting this forever. So I hope everybody's as excited as I am. I don't know, but I really hope that you guys will, as soon as the app comes out, there will be an announcement. We will be talking about it. And download it for free, of course. And check us out as soon as as soon as it launches, because we're doing everything we can to keep the community informed, educated, uplifted, inspired. And we hope that the new app will help get the information out just a little faster and at your fingertips. So anyway, that is my exciting news for the month. We have some other things coming up, but it'll be a little premature to announce them. So hopefully next month we can talk about a few more things that we have going on. I think that's all that we have for this month, for this segment. And I guess, ladies, do you have anything else?
Read the Dallas Examiner and get the app.
Yes, definitely. Read the Dallas Examiner. Check us out online at dallasexaminer.com. Follow us, share us, share us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. So whatever social media you guys use, which we know you use Facebook, so definitely make sure you like the Dallas Examiner wherever and on every social media application that you guys use. So anyway, until next week, until next month, where you can join us December 2nd at 6:30, right back here, and hopefully we will be able to see you in your comments. So take care, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye, everyone.